Literally everything good in my life that's happened in the last 3 months has been attributable to my YouTube channel, and my life has actually been pretty exceptional in the last 3 months. I don't say that to brag. I say that because I dropped out of college after 2 years, and the 2 years after that kind of sucked. I felt like a failure. I wasn't really moving anywhere, and I wasn't succeeding at the things I wanted to do. And now I'm kind of realizing that YouTube is the remedy. Maybe this sounds kind of dumb, but I'm going to explain to you how this is really very life changing. So, what we have here is I'm going to zoom out a bit. This is what we're going to be covering. This is the virtuous cycle of YouTube. And I'm going to cover it up just because I'm going to get more watch time out of you if I do it that way. But the first part of this is consistency. I highly, I cannot recommend enough that you make a video every single day. When I first started out, I was making 2 videos a week, and this means a lot of preparation. It means it kind of takes a lot of thought, and every video you're kind of nervous when you go to record. When you make a video a day, you don't procrastinate, you just get it done, and it makes it so that you can just record without feeling nervous. You can just feel natural on camera. And as a side note, I'll probably talk about this later, but the more natural you can come across and the more yourself, the more you're going to resonate with other people and stand out from the other people on YouTube, okay? And that's kind of one of the secrets of doing well. And on the topic of consistency, it's not just the benefits of YouTube. Like, if you never got any views, if you were just doing it and they were completely fake viewers and you never made any money, it would still be beneficial because it's the habit, right? It's like the habit of like taking a cold shower or doing 100 push-ups a day. Even if you don't care about the benefits of taking a cold shower or getting jacked from doing push-ups, just keeping yourself consistent so that you move forward every single day is the benefit, okay? It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. That brings us on to our next point, which is motivation, because motivation, as we all know, is extremely, I want to say like frivolous, right? So basically you'll be motivated one day and then the next week you'll kind of lose motivation. And the thing with making daily YouTube videos is this cuts that process every day, because every day you have to make a video about something, and that means you have to do something mildly interesting or say something or think of something mildly interesting. And that means you have consistent motivation, because at the end of the day, motivation is it's a cycle, right? Everyone says that kind of I could draw this out, but you have let's that's not what I meant to do. Let's copy this, and then I can bring this one. So we have motivation and we have action, right? And so a lot of people typically think that you're motivated, and so you take action, and that's exactly how it works most of the time. You get really motivated, and then you take action, but after a week, you probably stop feeling so motivated. Maybe you take some time off, and then you come back and you don't really feel like working on it. Well, it should actually be more like this, okay? And the arrow's now fucked up, but if I draw the arrow like this, you'll see that, in fact, action is oftentimes the precursor to motivation. When you first think of an idea, oftentimes the best ideas seem bad at the start, because basically people don't, all the good ideas would be taken if they all sounded good. But the nature of a good idea is that at first it doesn't sound good. But once you start taking action on this idea, you understand the nuances of the idea and understand the opportunities, and you can actually see that some ideas are better than others. So I had a project, the project that I did before this, which by the way makes money, and I'll talk about that, but that's thanks to my YouTube channel. The project I did before this it sounded like a great idea, and so I started doing it, and yes, I mean, it makes some money, right? It ended up working, but it's not as big as I thought it could be, and that's because I started taking action on it, and I gradually lost motivation. And so by taking action, you can actually sort out what the good ideas are and what the bad ideas are, but your motivation keeps building as you accomplish things and get things done. So yeah, YouTube, you're going to keep yourself motivated, and you're going to end up doing more, which leads to this thing, projects, okay? So basically, once you're motivated, once you're taking action, you start to do things. You start to write things or make things or create finished projects. I think most of my audience is probably software engineers or people interested in coding and building things, and so that's totally fine. But if you're not in that realm, if you're writing or doing some other sort of creative expression, this applies just as much. So you start to actually build things, which let me give you something. Let me give you a little paradigm. Resumes. Think of when resumes came out. So if we go back, 200 years or something, when everyone was like a fucking miner or a farmer or something, not like a miner like, a brown person or something, but like someone who's fucking in the mines with a pickaxe, they actually, like, you would just kind of turn up. If you're a warm body and if you can lift a fucking sledgehammer, then yeah, you can work, okay? And that's your resume. It's your body, you're standing there and you can do the work. And then as we started to get into knowledge work, it became valuable what you knew, right? And at that point, we needed a sort of piece of paper, and you could stand out by giving your employer a piece of paper that told them, here's exactly what I know and what I've done, okay? Done as in, like, previous work. And that was good. That was probably the last 100 years where resumes were pretty prevalent. And now I will argue that there's a shift going on where you see that there's high unemployment and IT in, like, tech jobs, but a lot of these tech companies are having trouble hiring at the same time. And it's because they're looking for a specific type of candidate, not just a basic person who's never done anything and who just got a degree and expects to make fucking $250,000 a year. It's people who have a high bias to action, who can actually make shit happen and do things. And so, when you have a YouTube channel and you're actually doing projects, you're going to build up a portfolio and a resume of projects and things you've done, okay? And what this does is, this is your new resume. When someone sees your resume, and instead of like, yeah, I built this weird, app in a school project, they see, I built this thing that makes money, or this thing that has this many users, or this thing that's maybe not successful, but it's just fucking cool. That stands out a shit ton more than the traditional resume, okay? And then the other benefit of doing projects is you gain new skills. And I don't really have to explain that, but I will anyways. There, boom, explained. New skills means you can put on your portfolio and resume, and you can get more opportunities. Which is where we go on to the next realm of this, which is success, okay? So this is kind of the typical thing that everyone talks about. Oh, you should do YouTube because these things, which I'll explain. Holy shit, that's a lot of highlighting. But these things are what most people talk about. And yes, they're important, okay? So one thing, I make roughly $2,000 a month with all my income combined. And that's enough for me, that's enough to live, and I'm personally pretty happy making that much because I don't really need anything. But the real thing is, this cash, like, I get an email, almost an email a day with someone wanting to pay me to do some sort of project. And I could take those on. I could easily go from making $2,000 a month to $10,000 a month if I had taken on these projects. Now I don't, because money's not my priority. But if it was, I could easily make $10,000, $100,000 a year after only like 2 or 3 months of running my YouTube channel. And by the way, I only started building shit when I started my YouTube channel. It's not like I was some kind of mega genius before I started my YouTube channel. I actually got into technology and building cool shit from my YouTube channel, which has built the path for getting into it more. Regardless, now we have, let's go to connections, okay? So connections, one thing that you're gonna hear a lot if you're watching this video, you probably know Alex Hormozi. Connections, he talks about connections and getting in the room with people who are smarter than you and further along the path than you. And YouTube is an incredible vector for these kind of connections. So one thing I'm going to say is that people just tend to think you're smart when they hear your thoughts, especially because I usually tend to go for a walk middle of the day and then I record later, and oftentimes I'll plan out what I'm going to say in my video while I'm walking. And this means everything I'm going to say is pre-rehearsed and pre-thought out. And I sound smart, right? I'm not necessarily smart, but I sound smart because I actually know what I'm talking about, and because I'm talking about shit I already thought about, right? And so you just have to sound smart, and because of this, you're going to get people reaching out to you like mentors and just people who are further along the path than you, but because you have a YouTube channel, you're valuable to them. You can provide value by, you're just cool. You stand out, okay? All right, I think I beat um that horse to death. And then freelancing or leads, yeah, this is cash. So if you also like ran a company, you could just get leads. So when I ran my company, Stellar, this is I mean, there's not really much on this landing page, but this is the app that makes me roughly $500 a month, and really, it's just like it's super basic. I mean, it's but I made a few videos about this, and I've gotten a ton of users just from those videos being out there, and I think this is a good example of where I just made a couple of videos because I'm comfortable being on camera, and I was able to get users for a side project. Whereas if you're not comfortable on camera, you're gonna have a fucking hard time getting users. It's hard to get people to trust you and use your products. Then let's come on to the last thing, which is opportunities. So if you follow my channel, odds are you don't. I just am working on an extremely badass project, and this project has. So I created a wait list because I wanted to get people's phone numbers so I could reach out for some sort of sales opportunity. And I called all of those people today, and what I found is that, well, my initial assumptions about these people was sort of wrong. It wasn't really the right match that I wanted, but instead I met these three people that are outstanding, and frankly, a couple of them I probably shouldn't even be talking to. So, first off, Jackson. I mean, this guy, he's like, he went to the school games. He actually like got to hang out with Alex Hormozi. Had a picture of him with Alex Hormozi. His business does tremendously. He has a bunch of businesses that are all successful, and we spent an hour on the phone today. It was extremely fun. I learned a lot, and he gave me great ideas. And I would never. I mean, there's no reason for this guy to give me the time of day, except he gave me his phone number for a video I made about something cool. Okay, and I would never have this opportunity otherwise. So I'm sure this, even if it doesn't lead to something amazing in the future, it definitely could. But yeah, that's just an example because some of these connections will turn into amazing things. Now, the next thing is this kid, Jesse. Dude, I was talking to this kid. He had the deepest voice. It's like, by the way, how old are you? I thought he was going to say like 24, 25. He was like, I'm 15. And so this kid is 15, and he's a badass, dude. He's got like a Discord channel. He's got like a YouTube, a YouTube channel that's like pushing traffic to his Discord channel, and he sells a product, and he's 15. This kid, I mean, he's probably going to be a billionaire. Jesse, I'm hoping you're going to watch this. You're probably going to be a billionaire. This is literally the origin story of every billionaire I've ever heard. By 15, they're already like, you can see they're going to be a billionaire. So that's a good connection to have. And then Anthony is another guy I just talked to today. And these are all from that lead list, by the way. Anthony, he runs, I don't know how much money he does. I didn't get into specifics exactly, but several dollars, a lot. And he does a very similar thing to what I do, which is like automation and building things and coding things. And I mean, it's a cool connection. I would never have this connection, and I'll probably get opportunities or work or, an investment opportunity in the future from these people, okay? And then, hopefully this isn't getting boring with me just talking about how great my life is, how great these connections are. But seriously, I just want to remind you, this is all up for grabs. I'm just I'm just a moron making videos like this. All my videos are like this, by the way. They're just me talking, sounding dumb. And things are turning out great. So, William, I just want to say, there's a company, maybe I shouldn't go into specifics, but the company that I've been building over the last couple of weeks, a similar company reached out. Now, I've been bootstrapping this thing. I've been building out this product and trying to figure out how to market it. And this guy reaches out, hey, look, we already have this product built out. We've raised over $1 million, and they're the real deal. They're actually probably going to get this thing done, and I'm going to try to go get a job there because, like I've said, money isn't my main focus. Even if it was, I could go work at this startup, and I'm going to try to get equity anyways, but equity in a big startup, I think there's a fallacy when you're young, and I think this is true. I'm not 100% sure, but I think there's a fallacy where you believe that yourself working alone is more powerful because it's easier to work alone than it is to collaborate, you know, at least at first. And so you believe that your own projects, your own ideas can go further than other people's. But the kind of, I think the reality is, and what I've heard from anecdotally, is that a lot of people see these great opportunities when they're young, like their friends starting a giant, you know, some startup, and they're like, oh, you know, that's just a small idea, blah, blah, blah. And they dismiss it, and then 10 years later, that company sells for $1 billion, and they're like, wow, I could have been on that train if I had just thought about it for a second and not been so, I don't know, not self-absorbed, but I'm trying to think of a word, just ignorant, basically. So yeah, this guy, William, reached out. He's the CEO of this successful company. He's already had a successful exit, and yeah, I'm probably going to go work there. Next thing, a solar company. I just got offered a position, like a part-time position, to work for this new company. Dude, the last company these founders had sold for over $500 million with a B, and this new company is, I mean, you know, it's pretty easy to see that it could be very successful. And so this is another opportunity where I might go just get a job. And again, I want to reiterate, I dropped out of college. I was studying computer science, and I was like, nah, bro, this ain't it. I dropped out, and now I'm about to get a job at a large company or a startup, and it's just because of my YouTube channel. Literally, the last 3 months, I could have been asleep for the last 2 years and then started my YouTube channel in 3 months ago and been where I am today. Literally, like the YouTube channel is the foundation of everything. My face is getting super red. It's just hot. Anyways, the last point is that all three of these go back into projects. So as you know, that project that I built, I get cash for it. I can reinvest that into new projects. I get opportunities. Those become new projects, and connections. Those become new projects. And yeah, everything goes back into new projects. New projects pad the portfolio, the resume, gain new skills, and you just get better exponentially, right? Because the cycle that I was in before is I would, oh shit, wait, hang on. Okay, I just had to push a meeting back. The cycle that I was in before, I was basically getting a bunch of motivation, taking some action, and then not really getting that many results, and then just kind of stopping. And I basically, repeatedly, kept moving forward and moving back, and just in this cycle of zero progress. And the magic is that with YouTube, especially daily videos where you're consistent, stop fucking texting me, dude. You end up just staying consistent and getting better over time. I want to show you one last thing before the end of this video. If you get 1% better every single day, to the power of 365, every single day of the year, that's 37.78 times better. 37.78 times better than you were at the beginning of the year. Enough said, right? And YouTube is the path. So, do I have a call to action? I don't know. Subscribe.